we ring in the new year from overseas this evening, joining you from Spielberg, Austria. It's a fast but narrow circuit here at the Red Bull Ring, one that will challenge drivers no matter their approach. This will be a difficult race for anyone to win, but drivers to watch this evening include Gavin Rogers and Mason Hausman. Hausman going for his 4th win on the season, and Rogers seeking a 1st. Welcome to Pit Stop TV in the virtual Spielberg, Austria. My name is Adrian Cardinale IV. I've got Zach. Oh, I did it. I didn't think I would do it, Scott. I did it. I've got Scott Shive alongside. My name is Adrian Cardinale IV. I've got Scott Shive alongside, and it's a pleasure to join you for coverage of the BRB Buttkicker Cup Series. Tonight's coverage from the Red Bull Ring is brought to you by the Buttkicker, Ascendance Trucking, Ideal Lease, Sundance Pizza, and Whiplash Sim Cams. I'm so sorry, Scott. Well, welcome, Scott Shive, just like that, to the BRB Racing League and the BRB Buttkicker Cup Series. Joining us for what should be a very fun day in Austria, in the mountains, a very fun place to go race. And this is a track that you had to buy on your way into the session, but tell us what you do know about it.
Yeah, I was going to compliment you on your pun there about ringing in the new year, but then you called me Zach. This track, Red Bull Ring, we know it well. If you watch Formula One, you know this track in Austria. A great track here, a 10-turn road course in the hills of Austria, and it provides some excellent racing in the Formula cars. But here tonight, as you know, we are in the 2024 Cup Series, NASCAR Cup Series cars, and they provide some great racing here as well. We've seen some great things on track so far in practice, as these drivers are looking forward to hit the road for qualifying now.
Yeah, practice ending with Rogers on top, Hausman second, then Stallings in third. A very potent top 3, a couple of teammates, and one other. So we'll see how things go in qualifying coming up next. Let's talk about point standings, though, coming into this evening. Isaiah Sutherland with the lead, and I said Hausman looking for his 4th. I'm sorry, looking for his 3rd. We've got 2 leagues, Tuesday and Wednesday. Okay, we have the BRB Racing League and the SimRat Market Series. In each series, the top 2 drivers in the standings each have the same amounts of wins. I had to do the points graphic for each one this week. And here at the BRB Racing League, Sutherland and Hausman each have 2 wins. But over in the SimRat Market Series, the top 2 drivers there have 3 wins. And when I was writing the script, I could have sworn these guys were already enough races deep to have 3 wins apiece. I just got the 2 confused. So it's a third win that Hausman's looking for this season, while Rogers looks for his 1st. Rogers on a part-time schedule, but very fast here at the Red Bull Ring. We'll see how he can do in qualifying and the race. Otherwise, we've got a pretty compelling battle around the cut line so far. And Scott, this is a very similar setup to what we see in the SimRat Market Series, where the top 12 will make it into the chase, and it's done by points and points alone. So a very similar situation here, just a very tight battle.
Yeah, not winning you're in like you would see in the NASCAR Cup Series. It's all about those points right now. Like you said, Isaiah Sutherland and Mason Hausman up there, 92 plus points, 83. But like you said, near the cut line, you've got those guys right there, like Richard Wolfsfer, Jared Hughes, Dustin Stallings, Zachary King, all just right above at +8 through +3. Then you got guys right outside like Dakota Camper, Scott Fritz, Carl Poole, Cody Dorsey, and others that are just outside the cut line 3 to 8 out. So it's these guys all from 9th, you could say even back to almost 19th or 20th. All these guys really have they could swing with each race right now, depending on how they finish in this race.
This is race 6 of the season. We can take a look at the schedule before we go to qualifying action. There you see Austria set for round 6. 55 laps here this evening. Next week we go to Nashville, then Chicagoland and Pocono to round out the month of January. February brings us Darlington, Daytona, IRP in Michigan, and then it's the Chase, St. Louis, Watkins Glen, Talladega, Rockingham, and Miami on April 1st. I swear it's not an April Fool's joke. Miami in its rightful place as the championship crowning event. Going to be a lot of fun. Make sure to follow along everywhere on social media. Pit Stop TV is everywhere. Facebook, Instagram, Twitch, YouTube, and X. As qualifying begins here and gets settled in, all these drivers on their first flying lap for the most part. Here is Coulter Clark. We'll cycle through some of the paint schemes, some of the stars here at the BRB Racing League. Richard Wolfsfer in car 56 with stints built on the side of that Chevrolet Camaro. Mason Hausman sporting a very special paint scheme in support of suicide awareness. And this is a paint scheme that chokes me up even. This is a very special movement to me. And I'm just so glad that we have a whole team dedicating their time here. Mason Houseman, along with Brendan Maddox, Dustin Stallings, and Zachary Maddox, if I can find the 14 car here, all have the same paint scheme, just different colors, supporting this cause. And again, it's one that chokes me up, Scott. It's one that means a lot to me, and I love these guys doing that this week.
It's such a sad thing in the time that we live in when things like that happen, affecting family members and others. So you love to see guys out here being able to support a cause, raise money, and anything of that nature for a cause like this to prevent suicide. So thankful to these guys and their team for being able to do this here tonight, and hopefully in more. Love to bring support to awareness and raise awareness for issues like this that people face in this world today.
We'll talk more about those paint schemes later on this evening, but out around the field, Gavin Rogers, fastest so far in qualifying. The Sundance Pizza Ford Mustang Dark Horse is quick, and boy, he's going to stay quick. He's even sporting the Christmas paint scheme that was done for him a couple of weeks ago, so we'll see if he can ride that sleigh to victory lane this evening. But the 77 car looks good. Jared Hughes looks to be good as well. Second place so far in qualifying. Brendan Maddox in third, Stephen Borbell, Johnny Wood Jr. complete your top 5, but only 9 cars have turned a lap.
Yeah, I love that number 98 Pit Stop TV Ford Mustang there of Hughes. But yeah, only 9 cars to go so far. Gavin Rogers was the fastest in practice. Right now he's put down a 1:32.4, so 1/10 faster than he had in practice. Right now, Mason Houseman in second right there, just 3/10 off. But now 10 drivers out. So we've still got 15 plus drivers to come out here and make a lap, and they've only got 5 more minutes to do it.
Time running down for everybody here, not just the drivers that have waited till the last second. Everybody is getting close here to not having enough time to run all of their laps. Gavin Rogers has just turned his second lap, and I believe these drivers should get 3. You can tell me. I mean, you're in the session as well.
They get 3. Yep.
Yeah, so everybody's getting a little bit close.
They do get 3. They had 10 minutes, so they're at 5 minutes and 30 seconds so far elapsed. That leaves obviously less than 4, a little under 4 minutes to go here for these drivers. Admin has given them 3 laps to be able to run it here. It's so easy to make a mistake at a track like this, as we're watching on with Rogers, and now Buttkicker here in the 81 car rounds out through turn 1. There's no track limits here in these NASCAR Cup Series cars, so you can run it all the way on the curve. You see the back of the spoiler can here running, making it run down into turn 2. Heavy on the brakes. You got to be long on those brakes in these cars. You can see how hot those rotors are. Off the brakes, they cool down out the exit of turn 2, down the back straightaway here.
One of a couple of straightaways, and this is the third long gas zone, if you will, down to a heavy braking zone. Third time in the lap that you get that. It's crazy how you can line up a road course like this with 3 long straightaways, heavy braking zones, and then still have all the twists and turns that you do in the interior of this course. But here we go, into the interior, if you will. Turn 6 here, then turn 7 at the bottom of the hill. Very, very nimble on the throttle as Buttkicker. You have to be. It's very tough to get this car around these corners. These sweepers with very little racetrack to catch it, and you see him get the car out sideways and drift around turn 7, back on power through turn 8, and down to turn 9 he will go. But you can see just how tricky it is to put the power down in these NASCAR stock cars at a place like the Red Bull Ring.
Yeah, that's going to slow his lap down tremendously. Probably lost almost a second in that, maybe just under that with 7/10. Rounding out here in the final corner of turn 10, come to the line, see what he's got here out of this lap. Yeah, it's going to be a 1:38.6, so not what the 81 is going to love. He's still got another lap in him. Try to line that up to be a little bit better. The 51 of Zachary King, our only other driver besides Houseman and Sutherland with a win. But right now, he's sitting in 12th, last in the point standings right now, that would make it in the end of our regular season.
Team get the power down here. He's on his 3rd lap of 3. Most of the field has turned their laps already. A few drivers yet to turn a lap cleanly. Some of those will be Scott Fritz here in the 48 car. He's yet to get a lap in cleanly. That, I think, will be an off track for him. He was way out there in the dirty stuff there. Sam Dyer comes across the line. Does that lap count for him or no? It's going to be a no for lap number 2 for the 35 car. Robert Moyer on the racetrack, actually the pit lane now. He didn't get a lap in. Patrick Hernandez has just gotten to turn his first lap. He's actually on his first lap, I should say. Richard Smith on lap number 2 does not have a clean lap yet. And Jason Bottoms on lap 3 does not have a clean lap yet.
Yeah, it's so, like we said, it's so easy to make a mistake while there are no track limits. Oh, the 87, you see Bottoms going around, slams into the wall there on his outlap. That's going to destroy his front nose, and he'll spin it into the pit lane.
The camera survived. That's all that matters, right?
Well, for us, maybe not for him. That'll send Bottoms back to the pit lane. He will not have enough time to get in a lap here today, but he will start from the back. Won't have time to do that. Zachary King wasn't able to, I say screwed up, had a little loose moment on his last lap, his out lap, so he'll try to go for it here again. This is a hot lap for him. He won't have time to put in another. 133, 134, 135. Looking across the line, it's 136.2. Not what he might have wanted. That puts him 19th on the starting charts right now.
It does bump him up a spot, though. He was 20th, so he grabs a position on the grid anyways. We'll flip from the outside to the inside lane. Here's a look at Cole Younger. That was wide into turn 5, I think that was. Turn 4 maybe, now into turn 6.
A little bit of
I don't think he's getting back around.
No, there's not enough time. It's close right now. He's about the middle of the track, so he's gonna need more time. He's not gonna. Well, iRacing will give you a little bit before the checkered flag, but I still don't think it's gonna be enough. He needs probably 7, 8 more seconds to be able to make it. But let's see if he can make it to the line here to be able to make it back. He's got 8 seconds to do it. I just don't think it's gonna happen.
And sure enough, time will run out for Cole Younger. Need another 10 seconds or so to get back to the stripe, and that will be it for driver 13 and the rest of the field here in qualifying. A quick moment, let's take a look at the partners to make this league possible. The Buttkicker, Ascendance Trucks, Ideal Lease, and Sundance Pizza all chipping in to do their part, and this week it's the Simrat Market Grand Prix here at the Red Bull Ring. A look around some of the scenic cameras around the track, around the circuit. Some scenic views for sure here at the Red Bull Ring. A very well done racetrack by iRacing standards. Boy, does it look good. It's going to be one of the next ones, I think, to get that 3D grass as well. That'll look nice when that comes along. But cars are headed to the grid. That means we've got to go through the grid. On pole this evening in car number 77. Yes, it's Gavin Rogers. He's got a couple of wins under his belt already in the league, but none yet this season. He's going for his first, while Mason Houseman goes for, check that, his third. Of course, checking what I said earlier, going for his third win this season in car number 78. Starting third will be Jared Hughes in the 98 car. It'll be Dustin Stallings from 4th spot, dropping 1 position from practice down to 4th here in qualifying. Starting 5th, it's Isaiah Sutherland. He's got a couple of wins this season. He is safely atop the standings. Zachary Brandvold from 6th, looking to move into the chase. Starting 7th, it's Johnny Wood Jr. 8th, Stephen Borbell. 9th and 10th will be Brennan Maddox and Adam Buzzio.
11th is the 25 of Gray Walker. On his outside will be that 54 of Coulter Clark. Then it's Dakota Camper in the number 3 and Richard Wolsifer in the 56. Carl Pooler will start there in the 15th position in his 71 machine, and Matthew Cantilla will start in the 18 car in 16th. 17th will be Josh Anderson, and Jamie Polder will be there in 17th and 18th, and then 19th and 20th, Zachary King and Braxton Skinner.
Starting 21st spot this evening, Evan Patinko in car 81, alongside Matthew Selby in that 46 car. It'll be number 84, Dakota Bly, in position number 23. Then Cole Younger couldn't quite get back to the stripe. He will start from 24th. Starting 25th, it'll be Scott Fritz, Tony Patton from 26th spot, there we go. 27th spot will be Richard Smith, 28th, Sam Dyer, and to complete your top 30, Patrick Hernandez and Robert Moyer Jr. Just a couple of cars left to go, Eric Jensen and Jason Bottoms. 32 cars in all, rolling off of the grid now and down the front stretch for the first time as a cohesive group. All, of course, behind that iRacing.com safety car. This a chance here, Scott, to take a look at the Whiplash SimCam's race details. What we do know, the 55-lap race, stages to come at the end of lap 10 and lap 20. 5 change sets, plenty of tires to go around, 80% fuel load, fixed setups, 1 fast repair, and 3 green-white checkers are available. Now, I don't know exactly how far this fuel will carry them. What I do know is we're gonna need a pit stop, at least 1, maybe 2, in that 35-lap stretch for Stage 3. That's a long stretch compared to what these guys are running in Stages 1 and 2.
Yeah, I think you can definitely make it the 10 laps of Stage 1 and 2, but the 35 last stage stint for these drivers, it's going to be close if it's going to be 1 stop. I think you're going to be safe if you stop twice, but I think we might have some gamblers here tonight that might try to save fuel in that 3rd stage and try to make it on 1 pit stop. Andrew, we'll just have to see if that's going to work out for them or if they'll run out of fuel.
A bit of an unknown for sure, the fuel game here at the Red Bull Ring. Of course, not a circuit these guys go to often, if ever, but here we're doing it this evening. A little bit of a different racetrack for these guys. Let's go over the track map one more time here. They just went through turn number 4. They're headed down through turn 5 now. So you can kind of visualize where they're at on the racetrack. They're going into Power Horse, turn number 6. Of course, we're not going to try the Austrian names. They're a little difficult for us, but turn 6 anyway, Power Horse.
I think I have that one.
That's about the one that I've got for you. And Remus at turn 3. I got that one as well. But otherwise, it's a little beyond me. Now they're at turn 7. So they're in that interior portion of the racetrack that just kind of butts in and gets close to that 2nd straightaway. Then they fire back through a very fast turn 8 to turn number 9 and 10. It's a very simple course here. You have a 90-degree right, a more than 90-degree right, a much more than 90-degree right at turn 4, and then the interior section, and then you're back around at 9 and 10 and complete the lap.
It seems simple, but you can make so many mistakes at every point you just talked about, Andrew.
That you can. Well, let's go down trackside and get ready for the green flag this evening. 55 laps in the Sim Rat Market Grand Prix coming at you. That long trip down to the restart zone. Waiting on the green flag. There it is. Green flag in the air. We are racing at the Red Bull Ring. Couple of cars moving around 3, 4 wide into turn number 1. A couple of cars making contact there, and a couple of cars going wide even as they get through the first corner. Everybody keeps it rolling. A couple of cars maybe in the background don't. One car starts in the pit lane, that's Matthew Selby, but the leaders up to turn number 3 are single file.
Oh, big lockup for Mason Houseman there into turn 2. That'll give back the lead to Gavin Rogers. Houseman had a great jump on the start of the Grand Prix, but right there locked it up into turn 2, and that gives Gavin Rogers back the lead here coming into 3.
So Gavin Rogers leads. Mason Houseman second. Third to Dustin Stallings. He grabs that spot over Jared Hughes, who falls back a little bit now. 5th place goes to Isaiah Sutherland, and they all keep it moving nicely into turn number 6 now. You see most of, if not the entire field, getting single file. A couple of cars slow. Cole Younger's one of them.
Yeah, I was wondering if we would make it out of turn 1 there, but we were able to do it. Some cars beating and banging just a little bit over that hill that is turn 1. Right now, a battle here up in the top, back outside of the top 20, actually, with this 33 of Tony Paxton and
Whoa! Big move. Mason Houseman to the inside of Gavin Rogers. He knows his chances now. He's going to try and take it, and he will get by the 77 car of Gavin Rogers. A big move, a big lunge in turn 9. He brings his teammate with him, and we've got ourselves a battle up front.
Huge move before the end of turn 1. The 00 of Dustin Stallings is going to back out of that for now, but huge move by the 78 Houseman. Oh, car sideways back behind them. That's Sutherland, the 24 car, got loose into turn 1, able to catch it there. But man, big move by Houseman.
Yeah, Isaiah Sutherland got way free there on the exit curbing of turn number 1. Rogers gives a shot there to Houseman at turn 3. It's turn 1, then turn 3, then turn 4. Those 3 heavy braking zones and passing opportunities, but Houseman got it done over at turn 9, somewhere that I would not expect a passing opportunity to lie. But it works out for the 78 car, at least for now. He gets by the 77, and he wants to lead this thing. He wants to selfishly take this one away from Gavin Rogers, even though Rogers is trying to get his first. Here we go, side by side.
A little bit of bad blood over the radio between the two of your leaders right now. Rogers a little bit upset by that move of Houseman being so early in this race to make a move like that. Hounding the back bumper is that Rogers gets loose out of turn 7. Now we make the charge here into turn number 8, now down into 9. But man, Rogers is still there riding the bumper of Houseman.
A little bit deep there was Houseman in 78. A little bit sideways there was the 77 of Rogers. They give, they take, that's just racing. Lap 2 complete now. Oh man, and Mason Houseman goes fastest at a 1:33.650. That's surprising actually with Rogers right behind him like that. You see them all get sideways over that exit curbing. Man, you don't do that in a Formula car.
No, if you hit that, you are done in a Formula car. You are absolutely gone. These Cup cars a little bit better able to handle that curb, but as you can see, it doesn't look comfortable. You saw Sutherland a lap ago get very loose over that yellow curb. It's so easy to do. Right here in the back, this is the 5. Drivers fighting for the top 10. This is Adam Buzzio. He was just battling with Brendan Maddox for the 8th position, wasn't quite able to hold on to it.
He was able to get by Johnny Wood Jr. though, so that's a spot gain for the 5 car up to 9th position. 10th, the final position in the top 10, of course. That goes to Johnny Wood Jr. Little battle here, Carl Pooler and Coulter Clark. You see all of the dust on the exit of turn 4 into turn 5. Cars get loose all over the place. That was the 25 of Gray Walker all over. And Jason Bottoms now has got problems at a turn 3.
That's the 87 car. We saw him. He had a problem in qualifying and now a problem in the race. This will send him back to 31st. He was running outside of the top 20, but not as far back as 31st. So the 87 now far back in the pack. Up front, still looks the same. Houseman in front of Rogers, but not by much at all. Only 0.3 of a second.
Very interesting the way the front of this race has worked out. I did not expect this. I expected this to be a Gavin Rogers type of show, and it still might be. That was a big mistake over the curbing for Mason Houseman. That's going to allow the 77 to draft up to him. But how close can Rogers get by turn 3?
Not
close enough.
Move here. Yeah, nope. He'll stay out of on the brakes heavy. He'll give a shove to the 78 here through turn 2. Still showing a little bit of displeasure, being a little bit aggressive here. Houseman has set the pace for how these two drivers are going to race each other. He did it on lap 1, and now Rogers knows exactly what he needs to do to get back by that 78 car. Oh, bit of a moment.
Bit of a lockup there, a rear lockup for the 77 car. They drive through the gravel there on the exit of turn 4 into turn 5. There's a lot. I mean, it's a beach over there at turn 5.
It seriously is. A lot of debris. Drivers got off track in the back, I imagine, through that sweeping turn 3. So easy to lose the exit. Yeah, you can see the exit right there. You can see the tire marks, but man, you can see iRacing's new debris model absolutely kicking up that dust to that gravel on the exit of this turn 3.
That's incredible. There's more cars on the way, I promise you. Here comes Richard Smith. And then another battle with Eric Jensen and company. Just watch the pebbles bounce around there. That's incredible. That's not something you get with most sims.
No, we've never seen anything like this before. iRacing, as most people that are on the service know, did an update just about a month ago with their debris model, and it is absolutely superb. I mean, everywhere you go, any course, the debris model it makes the racing even more excellent because you have to be all that more careful as a driver to not make those mistakes and to be able to get yourself out of others' mistakes, like you see that beach pit in turn 3.
Lap 5 of 55. And these guys have settled in here, single file throughout the entire field. There isn't much battling, but there is some in the background. Here we go, Josh Anderson and Richard Wolsifer. This is going to be for the 15th spot. Wolsifer way free on power. All over the place was the 56 car. Now a battle between Camper and Clark in the 54.
At 54 goes to the inside of Coulter Clark, but now the 3 trying to fight back here through turn 3. He'll try to make a move to the inside. Not quite enough room to be able to do it. Oh, he dives here into turn number 6. How will this work out between these two cars side by side, heading out of turn 6, now into turn 7 in the horseshoe? Man, that 3, you can see he is just not comfortable. Loose on the inside. That's going to give Coulter Clark the momentum on the outside.
And here comes the 38 car of Jamie Plord as well. He tries to push on through. Problems now in the background. Braxton Skinner around. This is in turn 4, it looks like. And that was including Dakota Bly, I believe, or at least another car. Maybe Cole Younger. He's falling back in the 13 car. He's got damage, it looks like.
Yeah, Skinner was running just around the 25th position there. Looks like he had an issue and is now going to be running in 29th.
Let's check this onboard with Cole Younger out of the Great Plains. Braxton Skinner just locked up, and they both went for a slide.
Yeah, you saw reaction there from Cole Younger. Got on the brakes to try to avoid the 33 car, but locked up the rears and spun it around too.
Already halfway through stage number 1 here. Coulter Clark making some contact here live now with Richard Wolsifer.
Yeah,
Wolsifer goes back by.
Yeah, the 54 was running in front of Camper. He was running in 12, had an issue here, and he's now back to 16th. That was just while we were under replay.
There's a battle sparking up for 3rd spot. Jared Hughes in the back end of Dustin Stallings. Stallings goes wide at turn 7 and allows Hughes to go straight on by, but gets in the way of Zachary Brandvold. He's not so nice. The car 55.
Yeah, Hughes right around it, up into the 3rd position, but Brandvold not making it easy. Dustin Stallings is not making it easy for that 55 car, but he's able to get around Stallings, just not quite having the pace of those top 2 drivers, and now Hughes and Brandvold manage to catch up and get around him.
Hausman takes the fastest lap so far in this race. The intriguing part of that battle with Hausman and Rogers is that Hausman's going to have to fend Rogers off on a restart here in just a handful more laps. And then again, if he still has the race lead at the end of stage 2 and beginning of stage 3. So there's 2 opportunities at the very least, but one coming up for Rogers to fight back and slap back maybe a little bit at that 78 car. And I wouldn't be surprised if he does. There are 2 younger drivers here in the BRB Racing League. They've each got a little bit of ego to them in a good way. And I would not be surprised if you see a bumper given.
Well, we already did. I mean, we saw that move. It wasn't exactly a bumper, but we saw a very aggressive move by that of Hausman in the 78, and Rogers wasn't happy with it, especially with it being on the first lap of we having 55 to go here tonight. So I think that set the tone for how these 2 drivers are going to race each other, at least tonight. And I think it's going to be a heated battle between them all night long. As you see, Hausman obviously has great pace. Rogers, fastest in practice, sat on the pole. He's not going anywhere. These drivers have been within a second of each other all night long.
And it's going to stay that way.
Yep.
I think Rogers might have a little more pace, I will say. He's just a little bit less consistent right now. I think because he's seeing red. He's been all over the back end of that 78 car. I think he's got a little more pace than Hausman, but I think he's been a little less consistent just because he's trying so hard to get back to him.
Yeah, he's been pushing a little bit harder ever since. He got a little bit hot under the helmet right now. Mason giving him a little bit of a nudge on the radio. They're chatting right now. But running down here into turn number 2, Rogers still not giving anything, turns to the outside, tries to get momentum here off of the exit of turn 2, will still be able to carry that run down this back straightaway, one of the 3 straightaways here, not quite able to do it, so he still runs second, but he's pushing a little bit much right now.
Into turn 4 here, then turn 5 as they work down the hill and through the beach. You know, the gravel at Mid-Ohio in turn 4 is called China Beach. I'm not kidding. And they just reprofiled that racetrack actually in turn 4 to not have such an angle, have a little less banking, and not have the launch that we saw for, gosh, who was that a few years ago? It wasn't Elio. I forget who went flipping off into the gravel there at turn 4 at Mid-Ohio. But anyways, point being, we're going to have to come up with a beach name for turn 5 here at Red Bull Ring because it is a proper beach. It's it's almost as sandy as the desert that Sundance Pizza is in over in Arizona. It's almost that sandy. It's getting there.
Well, we're going to have to think of it here as we go here into the final 2 laps of this first stage so far. Houseman been out front for every lap but one. Rogers obviously sat on the pole, but Houseman, aggressive move into turn number 9 on the first lap, gave him back the lead. Right now, Rogers
might see a move here.
The bumper. He's looking to the outside again, try to carry momentum off of 2. Didn't work for him last lap, but maybe he can get it done here.
I thought you were going to see a move there, and you might see a move here before the end of the stage. That said, does he want to show all of his cards? Right now, if he goes by the 78 car, only drops the 78 down 1 position. If he waits for the restart and uses the car a little bit there and moves the 78 out of the way, that could be 3, 4, 5, 10 positions before it's done. So if you really want to get back at a guy, do you do it now before the end of the stage or do it at the restart?
Well, we saw on the restart, Rogers was on the inside of the track. Houseman was on the outside. Houseman had an excellent launch and was able to grab the lead from the outside before locking it up into turn 2 and giving it back to Rogers. So you got to think, does Rogers want to stay in that second position and start from that outside, or was it just a good jump by Houseman?
Time will tell. We're working up on to lap number 10 of 10 in stage number 1. I love these super fast drone shots. They're meant for Formula cars. That's why they're so fast here. But man, they really get moving. They show the speed here as well. Even on the front stretch, they show just how fast these cars are moving straight on past them and into turn number 1. Lap 10 of 10 here in stage number 1. This is for all the marbles in the first stage. But it isn't too many marbles compared to the race win. So how aggressive do these guys get?
Yeah, I don't know. We've obviously seen them both be aggressive. Right now, Rogers doesn't have enough room to make a move here into turn 2. This has looked like it's been his favorite spot to make a move. Hasn't quite been able to do it the past few laps here, but he has been definitely showing Houseman that he is still there and he's not going away.
Down to turn 4 now. Oh, moving around into braking is the 77, chasing that car. He works to the outside of Houseman. I think he scared Houseman a little bit. They each go wide. He's right in the tire tracks.
He scared Houseman, but he messed himself up. He's overdriving it right now. We know he's fast in practice on the pole. We know he has excellent pace running behind Houseman. Like you said, he probably has faster pace, but Houseman able to have enough to be able to defend. But right there, he pressured Houseman into a mistake, but he screwed himself up as well. He needs to work on throughout this race being able to pressure Houseman while keeping himself under control.
Oh no, the lap car of Cole Younger checks up a bunch there to turn 9. Houseman takes a big hit, and they're each going to be slow now around the final corner of turn 10. Houseman nursing a whole bunch of right front damage, but Houseman will still win stage number 1. Caution is out. What a moment there, and you best believe we'll get a replay.
Wow, did not expect that as we were coming to the white flag for that first stage, for that green-white checkered. And wow, I mean, the 13 right there looked like he was slowing down to come to pit road.
I don't know. It's hard to say from that first look. We didn't see much, but we'll take a look back at it here and see what happened to driver 13.
Well, because we saw Houseman right there. He wasn't all the way to the outside. He was trying to defend a move on the inside from Rogers. And right here, the 13 doesn't go all the way down to the inside. Yeah, man, just right in the middle of the track.
He was in the middle of the track. I think he was running his line. I think he just backs that corner up more. He was in the middle and half on the racing line, half off. So I give Mason that, but at the same time, Mason took a while to actually avoid him.
He did. I think Houseman was looking in his mirror.
I think so too.
He was looking at that move from Rogers going into turn 9. He knows that he put the move on him earlier in the first stage in turn 9, and he's looking in his mirror this entire time.
Watch this here. He's straight, and just at the last second does he try to move out of the way. I don't think he expected to close in that quickly. Watching that from that point of view, I think he expected to get him on corner exit.
Yeah, I think he expected the 13 to move down to the bottom when he saw him out of his front windshield, but I think he was focused in his mirror.
One more look at it coming. A dramatic moment here at the end of stage 1. And that is putting it lightly. This could have been much larger, and I'm glad it wasn't.
Yeah, you know this better than me, being here with the Buttkicker Cup Series each and every week. Do they have a fast repair, or is it only they do? Okay.
That's a very good question. That's where I was going to go next. They do have a fast repair, and that's going to be Mason's used, I think, along with Gavin, more than likely.
Yeah, that was out of the blue. I did not expect that at all. These two talking over the radio right now, Houseman and that of the 13 of Cole. And so right now, Houseman not happy at all.
No, he's not going to be. He's going to see that from his point of view. He's going to see that as a car in the racing line, and I get it. That's to be expected, realistically. I think he can cut the 13 a little bit of slack. I think that was just Younger trying to get around the racetrack as best as he can, but at the same time, Younger does have to be a little more aware that there's leaders coming up on him and be a little more predictable. So that's just a bad situation in general, but that's the way it goes sometimes as these guys work through the beach of turn 5. Yeah. Oh, I've got one for you.
What's up?
We have China Beach at Mid-Ohio.
Okay.
We can have Cinco Beach. It's turn 5.
Ooh!
Cinco
Beach. It is. I like that. The Cinco Beach. I like that. That's fun. Well, look, there's more gravel now in turn 6 and 7 too. I mean, look at these drivers going through here. We might have Cinco, Seis, and Siete Beach.
I guess Austria would speak German?
I think so. Well, yeah, I believe so. I believe they do. Hey, my friends are, I told you this in the pre-race, my friends are actually in Austria right now.
I'd have to ask them what the word for 5 is and see if we can do something there. Oh, pit stop here.
My roommate and best friend does speak German.
We'll circle back on that as we see a pit stop here for Mason Houseman. No pit stop out of Gavin Rogers. Rogers going to wait it out with that damage, and this is going to drastically change the course of this race. Many lead lap cars are staying out here. I would have thought more would pit.
Yeah, this begs the question, with so many staying out, I wonder if they can make it just over that 20-lap mark, because there would be no reason to stay out unless you could.
Well, and even if you're at like 17 or 18, this caution stretches it, right? Or you can save fuel during this yellow and get to lap 20.
Though. You'd have to be, I think under even a caution like this, you could save 2 laps maximum. Probably a lap and a half, because this track is long. So well, I'm interested to see, because I've got to think that they know they can make it up to lap 10. But, oh, you know what I'm thinking of now? We'll stop at lap 20. When we get the green, we'll be like lap 15.
Yep.
Yeah, there it is. That's the answer.
Yeah, they're going to get 5 laps of caution here more than likely. Given that we have lap traffic, it'll give them the full 5 laps, I believe. So we will have plenty of time for these guys to sit there and save fuel. And even during the green flag, they can save fuel before and after. So yeah, I think these guys that are staying out are banking on just holding out with track position, realistically. Because Gavin Rogers, Jared Hughes, Zachary Brandvold, and so many more all stay out. In fact, the top 12 on the racetrack, we'll bring up the ticker for this. I don't usually we'll pull the ticker down so you get the full screen, the full immersive experience under yellow. But if you look at the ticker here, the top 12 all stay out. That's Rogers, Hughes, Brandvold, Sutherland, Borbell, Maddox, Buzzio, Wood, Plord, Anderson, King, and Hernandez. Let me catch my breath. The first car to get back on the racetrack here is Mason Houseman in 13th. He's followed by Dustin Stallings. And let's also remind ourselves, these NASCAR stock car tires on road courses have been super durable for the last 2 or 3 years. So they don't necessarily need to come in and get tires. It's really just a fuel game for these guys. They're not worried about the rubber on the race car too much.
Yeah, we saw Houseman running pretty fast laps there for quite a while. I'm going to take a look right now at his laps in the race so far. Fastest was on lap 6. It was a 1:33.2. And let's go to lap 9 when he didn't have an incident there with the 13. He ran a 1:33.5. only 3/10 off of his fastest lap in the session, so almost practically nowhere at all.
See the field work through turn number 10, and they should be choosing this time, I believe. You see the choose here.
Rogers chooses that outside.
As does Houseman, I think. Saw a lot of cars choosing the outside. I don't know if they meant to or not. Maybe they're just used to ducking left to get the inside lane, but a lot of cars choosing the outside for turn 1.
Well, I don't know. It's difficult. On a restart like this, we saw a lot of congestion within the race. I think the outside, A, gives you a chance to carry momentum. B, it gives you an escape. When you're stuck on the inside like that, sometimes there's nowhere to go. When you're on the outside, you can go as far outside if you want if there's something happening inside of you. And I think that's one thing that Houseman is thinking about right now, sitting 14th for this restart. He is in the mid-pack. He is in the hornet's nest here running into turn 1 where we can see the most action all day long and the most incidents. So he wants to absolutely be able to stay safe, get through there cleanly, and work through this field.
Rogers choosing the outside, Hughes choosing the inside. Brandvold chooses outside. I believe he was 3rd, so he had the option. Sutherland inside. Brendan Maddox jumps up a bunch. Maddox stayed out, so he jumps up to what'll be the 6th position. Borbell 5th. Wood in 7th. Buzzio in 8th. Your top 10 will be completed by Anderson, and I believe that is Jamie Plord. Yes, it is. A very interesting setup here for this restart. And we'll be restarting on lap 15 of 55. We're going to have 6 laps of green flag racing, it looks like, in stage 2. A very quick sprint. And then the long haul of 35 total laps will be about 31 green flag laps in stage 3. That's a long time.
It is a long time, and we're going to see, can Mason Houseman work his way back up towards the front? Saw earlier, obviously, him and Rogers have been fighting hard this entire race. They're having some troubles over the radio, even under this caution, so them two not happy with each other. They'll get a break from each other right now, but Houseman looking to make a charge here back to the front. Can he survive through turn 1?
Let's see, the iRacing.com safety car ducks to the safety of pit lane. And here we go. To restart in stage number 2 and kick off the second stage of the Red Bull Ring, we are, wait for it, green flag racing in Austria once again. A big launch out of turn 1 for the 77 and 24 cars. That holds the 98 back, but Jared Hughes will have the inside for turn 3. And a look in the back from Hernandez. He goes sailing into Brendan Maddox. Oh, you're kidding. The 78's caught up in it. Houseman took a bunch of damage.
Houseman took a bit of damage there. Got to look at his front end. Before that, he had gained almost 4 spots into the first corner there, and on the exit, this is the 91 of Patrick Hernandez. This is where the problem began. A lot of cars getting involved here.
Unbelievable. The Texan missile, we're going to call him from that one. That was, we'll get a replay here in a second. He came from a mile back.
Yeah, Houseman's got an inverted nose. He got a big dent in his nose.
Yeah, let's check in on that 78 car. Where is he? Here he is.
He's currently 8th.
Oh my gosh.
That's going to affect the aero on that car.
It's going to be difficult to come back from. He sees a lot of damage throughout the field now. We had a lot of pretty looking race cars coming to that restart, and a lot of them now up inside the top 10 just took a bunch of damage from that. Houseman, one of them.
Yeah, right before that, Jared Hughes was looking to the inside of Sutherland. He was able to get it, so he's up into second. Then Sutherland,
Brandon, another spin! Another spin! Jamie Plord and company. Plord around out of turn 10. Trying to get himself righted. There he goes. We've got 2 things to look at a replay of.
Golly, a lot happening here in the middle of this second stage, already on to lap 16. This was the first incident here. See a big dive from the 91. It looked like it was going just too much.
Way too much. I'm gonna call him a missile. There's no better way, in my opinion, to describe that. He just came in from way back and just absolutely underestimated the speed he was going to have into that corner. Let's ride on board. You're up the inside of King, the inside of Anderson, the inside of Maddox, and just straight line to the 8 car. That's difficult to watch.
Yeah, you just you know where the breaking point is. You know how far you can push it. You've run a ton of laps here. You know where it is, and that's just too aggressive.
He was deep into turn 1, which that's okay. That's a shot in the shorts. That's normal for road course racing at this level. But then he just comes sailing up the inside. I don't know where he expected to go with this.
This is where you look. It's too wide in front of you. You might look 3 wide, maybe. But I mean, he
made it 4.
Yeah.
And really, who that ends up kicking in the shorts is the 78 of Mason Houseman and the 8 of Brendan Maddox. Those two teammates take the brunt of this. The 78 because of all the nose damage, and the 8 because of the spin.
Good news for you. The 78 is running at 133.4. So that is, 133.4. So that is as fast as his laps earlier, prior to any damage. So it looks like that invert in his nose is not affecting his car.
Well, let's check this out for Jamie Plord. Right behind all this mess with teammates Coulter Clark and Gray Walker. And Plord just sneaks right in between the two of them into turn 9. Right down to the curbing. That looked nice. Gets to the inside of Coulter Clark. And then just got loose. And, you see the 0 go for a slide. That was Dustin Stallings.
Yeah, Stallings now down into 14th. So down 10 spots from the start of this race. He started out in 4th. But right now, Gavin Rogers, a 4.1 second lead over second place Isaiah Sutherland.
1 is the loneliest number.
Well, Houseman is up to 6th. After he started 14th, after turn 1, he was in 10th. Obviously, then we had the incident with the 91 of Hernandez. That put him in 9th. Then after that, everything cycled out. He was in 8th. Now he's up to 6th. 4/10 of a second back from the 98 of Jared Hughes.
I'll tell you what Mason needs to do if he wants to win this race. He's going to have to stay out at the end of the stage, get the track position there, and stretch some fuel.
No question about it.
He's going to have to, because he's going to have to stay out, get the track position, and then hope that it's a one-stop still to the end. And that's about the only way I see this working out for him.
Yeah, I mean, we're just going to have to see with how the cautions fall. Obviously, I don't know. You know what might be a good move would be pitting before pit road closes under green.
Yeah, there's that as well.
That might be his best option, because
he would have to pit this lap though.
Yeah, he'd have to pit now, because if he doesn't get fuel now, it'd be close in the middle. He could not stay out for the entirety of stage 3. Well, he's up to 4th now. Well, no, battle back on the inside from Borbel.
Stephen Borbel falls back into the 5th position in car number 2. Jared Hughes will now battle up in that 98 car, and Hughes will go by. Houseman, the only driver that's in the top 10 that pitted. You can see that's just him, I think, bleeding through in all of this, because track position definitely has been king. That's just him being him.
Yeah, Gray Walker is the next car back that has pitted. He's in the 11th position right now, and everyone back.
He might make it 10th.
He's looking here now on the inside of the 07 of Josh Anderson, and yes, he'll look to make it into the top 10 here out of turn 2. Double 7, or 07, not quite done for it yet though, Andrew.
Oh, he's not going to fight back to the inside here of Gray Walker. And we are just a couple of laps away now from the end of the stage. Houseman did not pit there. So it looks like he's going to go to the end of the stage.
Maybe he believes in his pace. He's already made up so many positions so far. Depending on how others pit, this would put him starting 4th. Obviously, people might stay out, but they'll have to pit for fuel again. Big move here on the 55. Lock up for the 55 of Brandvold. Still carries momentum out of turn 9. Now what will the 78 do here out of turn number 10? Follow him down. This is 2nd, 3rd, and 4th, all right here in a line. 7.5 seconds back from leader Rogers.
You saw Brandvold move over, and Houseman said challenge accepted. Outbrakes Brandvold into turn 1, but it jumps over that curbing, still gets the position anyway. So now he's going to work up on 2nd place Isaiah Sutherland. And most recent race winner as well, Isaiah Sutherland. He won at Bristol right before the holiday break. Down through the slow number turn 3.
Yeah, clearly Houseman and Rogers are our 2 fastest drivers. We saw that earlier in stage number 1, but Houseman absolutely marching through the field, now making a move on the 24 of Sutherland, down to the inside, a little bump out of turn 4 into turn 5 now. Heading into turn 6, they're still side by side here. This is the last lap of stage number 2. Pulling the crossover is down to the 70. Big move, forces the 24 to the outside.
There was some contact there for sure. These two are the top of the series. Forget Gavin Rogers. These two are the top of the point standings. They've each got wins, and Sutherland I don't think is having any of it.
Yeah, Sutherland fighting for everything he's got here. Now back down into turn number 9. Sutherland's got the inside, but the 78 has huge momentum. Oh, a little bit of a moment behind them too. The 55 and 98 caution is out. That's for the stage end, so that will freeze the field.
And there is that moment for Gavin Rogers. He wins the stage. Didn't get a chance to talk to Mason Houseman after the end of stage 1. We'll try and talk to them both.
He was busy over the radio talking to pretty much everyone.
Well, admittedly, I kind of forgot. I'll be honest. We got so encapsulated in everything that was going on with the Houseman drama. And it's been a couple of weeks since we did one of these broadcasts, so I kind of forgot you were supposed to get the stage winner. So that's on me. I apologize, Mason. We'll try and get them both here under this yellow. Let's see if we can dial up the driver that wins stage 2. That's going to be Gavin Rogers. We'll bring in Gavin, fresh off the stage win, driving through Cinco Beach, as we've named it over there in turn 5. Gavin, how's the car feel?
Car feels good. Kind of just trying to figure out if I should take tires or not. And I always kind of screw up my strategy with it. I'm thinking no tires. That felt good, that run. I know there's some marbles on the track. I couldn't really hit my optimal lap times, and obviously I wasn't pushing it to the death there because I had a decent lead there. I don't want to blow it. But yeah, I'm thinking taking no tires. We do have a long run. The pit stop's going to count during the green flag, so I have to figure that out too. I didn't really get much practice doing that, but overall I feel pretty good.
What do you make of that contact early, that big move on turn 1? I heard from Scott, my guy on the radio here, that you weren't too happy.
Oh no, I was fine. I think Mason was a little unhappy about it, but I was fine with it. I was just kind of screwing around. Well, not necessarily screwing around, but I was just hanging out behind Mason, just trying to figure out a few things, see what he's struggling with. I didn't want to send any big moves on him too early. And then we had a big checkup with, I think it was Cole Younger, which is what it is. I know Mason was a little upset about it, but he's back up here, so he should be pretty good.
Do you think there's any way here that anybody else other than that 78 challenges you here?
Yeah, I can see it. Obviously, me and Mason we were racing very close in that first stage. I'd expect it to be the same this stage. So I expect if something happens, there will be guys that will be there waiting to attack if there's mistakes made. I know Isaiah's pretty fast. Eckert Brandvold's back up here. I know he was pretty fast last night. Jared, Steven, Adam. They're all there's a decent bit of guys in here that are pretty fast here. Just have to see how it plays out.
We've been a beast on the racetrack here, a pace that nobody can touch. Congratulations on the stage win. Hopefully we'll talk to you later.
All right, thanks, Andrew.
Moving back in with his teammates, Adam Buzzio, Stephen Borwell, and Jared Hughes. Gavin Rogers, stage 2 winner. We'll dial up Mason after the pit stop.
Yeah, I heard them talking over the radio. Obviously, heard that Houseman was upset, but Rogers, I must have misinterpreted a little bit of a chiller under the radio. It's hard. I try to, sometimes I keep the radio on just to be able to pick up stuff like that, but I'm not gonna lie, viewers, sometimes I get it wrong.
That's okay. We're in the drama business anyway. Well, we'll see. I think everybody pit here.
Yeah.
The only drivers I would expect to stay out would be guys like Mason Houseman, maybe a Gray Walker, going for that track position, trying to stretch it out into the beginning of stage 3, and I think they can.
We'll see. I think a lot of them can. Houseman, I don't see any reason not to pit now, moving his way all the way up to second.
Yeah.
I mean, you want to be as much fuel as possible because that's the game. I think Rogers talked about it. The tires haven't really worn. He liked what it felt like on that last stage run. So 90% sure Rogers is not getting tires. I don't think Houseman will take him either.
Pooler stays out. Patinko stays out. I think I would have stayed out if I were Mason Houseman, but I'm not Mason Houseman. So we'll see what happens here with just about everybody pitting up front.
I think I would have come in. So let's see which one of our ideas in our mind would have worked out.
Well, just about everybody pits. They're still filing into the pit lane, all one by one. A few cars do stay out. In fact, it's 2, it looks like. Evan Patinko and Dakota Camper. The 48 goes by his box. He will exit first. Oh, and Houseman tried to get the 77. Did you see how close that was?
It was very close. 78 trying to jump the gun out of the pit box there. Just wasn't quite able to do it.
Very close moment as everybody works out of the pit lane. Let's go back and see just how close that was.
Yeah, looked like some of these guys took right side tires.
I see right sides going on for Rogers, then down and away.
Right sides.
I'm surprised by that. Look how close that is to the line.
Oh my goodness. I mean, between the 3 of them.
Yeah, Sutherland in that too.
Wow, that was close.
I'm surprised by the right sides though.
Me as well. I thought they would have taken no tires. I'm surprised to see them both do it. Like, Rogers talked about he liked it, what he felt. I'm surprised at them actually doing the same thing. And it looked like a lot of guys pulled that strategy. A lot of guys came in here and did that.
I see 1, 2, 3 cars up on right side jacks. I see one oddity here. That is going to be Dustin Stallings on the left side jacks.
And Sutherland behind him is flat.
Yeah, I see another car here on right side jacks. I see another one there.
It looks
like another car on left side jacks.
Wow.
Very interesting pit strategy here. Let's see if we can get back to live picture, though, and get to Mason Houseman quickly before we go back green.
Yeah.
That is just so interesting. Let's dial up driver 78 and maybe have a chat about tires. Because that is, again, very intriguing the way most of the field seems to have gone for the 2-tire option, 2 right-side tire option. I would have expected 2 left sides. If anything, Mason, we're going to bug you a little bit here before you choose. Congratulations, by the way, on the Stage 1 win. What happened there at the beginning of Stage 2?
It seemed like a little bit of a missed breaking point by Patrick Hernandez there. You know, it happens around here, cold tires, cold brakes. You know, calamity, and then I had to make my way through the field, had to do some dodgy moves, but you know, it was fun to say the least. I think I had a couple of people upset with me, but you know, I gotta do what I gotta do to get up there to Gavin and try to race him for the win.
Absolutely. Now, how about this move to take 2 right sides? A little bit intriguing for us. We would have expected left sides, if anything. Are you expecting those right sides to help you in the interior of the racetrack?
I took 4 tires.
Oh, did you?
Yeah, I took 4.
We must have missed something then, Scott. I could have sworn I saw just right sides.
I think it might have been
on.
iRacing move because Rogers did the same thing. So I think it was iRacing might have screwed with our mind.
I mean, if it makes you feel better, the right sides are the most worn right now.
Okay.
Interesting. Very, very interesting. Well, that changes things up a whole bunch more. Either way, congratulations on the first stage win. And we're going to go back and look at pit stops again.
Okay, perfect. I appreciate it, guys. Have a good rest of your night.
You as well. That's Mason Houseman with the stage 1 win. And talking to him a stage late. By the way, I see Julie checking in. Adam runs in the, 15th spot right now. But let's go back to those pit stops if we can quickly.
It's got to be an iRacing thing because I swore I only saw the jacks come up on the right sides.
Take one more replay flashback. I think we were just losing our minds there because I just saw a little preview, and I'm pretty sure I saw left sides go up first. We just didn't go far enough back.
Oh, goodness.
So let's see here.
Are we about to get bamboozled here?
I think so. Watch here. Yeah, left sides went up.
Oh, no!
But what fooled us was how delayed Stallings was getting in, because it looked like Stallings went for 2 left sides.
Yeah. Well, viewers. Oh, goodness.
Well, here we go. I'm glad we at least set the record straight. We've been saying a whole lot of random stuff, it would have felt like.
I know. I'd have been like, wow, these right sides are really turning on the inside of the corners.
Yeah, glad we set the record straight there, but here we go. Into turn 9 and around turn 10.
See what Houseman can do now.
It'll be 31 laps here in stage 3. 2 cars in the front row stayed out. Everybody else pitted, at least for something. It was 2 tires, I believe, for Scott Fritz. Maybe fuel only. Let's see what happens here. Green flag back in the air in Austria. And watch that 78 car up the inside. Here comes Mason Houseman, looking for the race lead.
Looking to make it 3 wide here out of turn number 1. Gavin Rogers and him move on the outside and inside of Dakota Camper. They move themselves up into 2nd and 3rd. Only car in front of them is the 81 on 2 tires.
Here we go into turn number 3. Patinko stayed out, and he gives the race lead away. Just like that, here comes Houseman.
Houseman and Rogers. It's what we saw in the first half of this race before a ton of calamity. So the 2 of them, 77, 78. It's like we saw all early this night long.
We did have a spinner there in turn 3. That was Matthew Catania. But into Cinco Beach and around turn number 5 into turn number 6. Everybody gets single file. A couple of cars squirrely in the background, but you're going to keep watching the top 2 out front.
I imagine that's what we will be watching all night long here. Them absolutely pushing it. Obviously took 4 fresh tires, so they have a little bit of an advantage. Oh, big moment for the 1225. They're the 16s around in the back in turn 7.
Robert Moyer Jr. around for his spin. That's okay. We keep on moving. Gavin Rogers leading the race now, 30 to go, this time by a big flip-flop moment there for the 78. Did you see how big time he was swatting flies?
Yeah, he was pushing it out on the exit of turn 10 right there on that first lap after the restart. Right now, 34 laps to go left in this race. So a little bit more than halfway.
34.
We've got a lot of time left.
I count 30.
Now, that's what I'm thinking as well. My lap counter says 26 for some reason. And so does yours.
Well, it's lap 26.
Oh, I'm dumb. You know, viewers, I've said it before. If you've never watched the No Limit Racing Series with Simrat Market, you can know that I'm bad at math. And Andrew can tell you that.
You know, Zach says that all the time as well. think that's just
Really?
the type that we have. Is we just have the type that's bad at math.
Dude, well, look, I mean, I'm a race car analyst, not a race car mathematician.
That's
I
fair.
stopped taking math classes 3 years ago.
Had a big moment a moment ago in turn 1. Eric Jensen and others turned around. Let's see what happened here. The 71 of Pooler went up the inside, and Jensen was there, and there was already cars around. Josh Anderson was spun around.
Yeah, car parked out on the exit of turn number 1. Nowhere to go for the 99. He almost got out of it. It looks like that curbing, that yellow curbing, he was a victim.
Oh, wow. Adam Buzzio involved in this. And Stephen Borbell and Zachary King. Oh, and Anderson's just trying to rejoin, and you can't. You've got to just wait for the whole field to go by when you're stuck like that.
Yeah. A lot of drivers over the radio are upset right now over that what just happened in turn 1.
Let's take a look at it and see how it happened. Adam Buzzio, I have a feeling, might have a run here because he was involved with the 2 N07. So Buzzio, from a ways back, comes flying in. Oh my gosh, Adam Buzzio.
Yeah, just too late, like what we saw earlier in turn 2 with the 91. Oh goodness, yeah, and then yeah, the 07 was moving right there, tags at 99.
There's some big moves there at the end of that lap, and you see now the 07 comes in for a fast repair and some new tires. This is intriguing. Is he taking this pit stop here because he feels like he's good to the end? Could it be this close?
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, he obviously was just involved in an incident. He had damage there, so might have come in for some damage repair. Not sure about fuel. I just don't think we're going to know until the last 5 or so laps when people either start diving to pit road or start running out of fuel.
It'll be somewhere between lap 45 and lap 55. I know that much.
Yeah. With 10 to go, we'll just have to see. We just want to shout out real quick, Scott Fritz right now in the 48 car. He's running in 6th, right outside the top 5. He's up 19 spots from the start of this race. And right in front of him is Evan Batenko, and he is 16 spots up from the start. So 2 drivers who started in the back of this field have absolutely worked it here tonight.
And Patinko stayed out under that last yellow, so he's going to have to pit a little bit sooner. We're going to be tracking that strategy as the night goes on. Scott Fritz in the 48 car, meanwhile, a dirt racer at heart. Doesn't know anything about these road courses, comes out here and is showing these guys what for. I can tell you what, interesting show for the 48 so far as he rides in the 6th position. And he, I believe, took fuel only at that pit stop, keeping those tires on that race car.
Yeah, 2 drivers making some aggressive calls in the back half of this race, trying to see if it can work. The 55 of Zachary Brandvold right now on the inside of the 48 here, out of turn number 6 into turn 7. He'll have that position.
Now that the craziness is subsiding here, I think we can just get back into our original racing program. Here comes Brandvold on the inside of Evan Batinko, and that pass is made by turn 9. That's good for 5th position. Brandvold has been really good this season when he's able to race. He's missed a couple of races and has sunk down the points graphic. Let's bring that up for you here for a second. Brandvold down to 19th. He's only 29 out from the chase, and he missed the last race. He would be a whole lot closer if he had just made Bristol a couple of weeks ago. This 55 car is just promising. I'm going to say promising. I talked about him on the BRB Holler podcast back in December, and I'm going to talk about him again. I just like what we're seeing out of the 55 car. I don't know why, but Brandvold has just piqued my interest week in, week out, and I think he's going to be one to watch so long as he puts his nose at the grindstone and gets back into chase contention here.
Yeah, with missing a few races, only being 29 points out, shows you how he's finished in the early part of this season. So that 55 car making some promising runs here so far in these first 6 races that he has been in the BRB Buttkicker Cup Series.
Checking a little bit deeper in the field, Johnny Wood Jr. working on 10th place Jamie Plord. Ford missing the line there at turn 6 ever so slightly. What a race this has been, I gotta say. Decent track choice. I really, there were a whole lot of unknowns going in. But I think these guys have worked it out nicely. This is a really solid track for these guys to go racing on this evening. I think it worked out nicely.
Yeah, these drivers have put on a great show so far. We've seen a little bit of action, a little bit of chaos, great fighting up front within the top 5. And so far we've seen some excellent stuff here out of the Red Bull Ring with these drivers. 87 a little bit slow here on the outside.
That's Jason Bottoms. Wolsifer will go by, and Wolsifer will slide in and nearly take out the 23 of Richard Smith. Wolsifer sliding and spinning, gasses it up, and will turn that car around.
I thought he was going to drift it onto pit road there for a second.
Yeah, me too. I'm surprised he didn't, actually.
Yeah,
that could have been his
used
pit
up
stop.
A lot of rubber right there. Not that it truly matters as much on this track. These tires, like we've said, are really hard, a hard compound. Don't see much wear for those drivers. The 56 just having a moment out of turn 9.
Let's move back up in the field. Oh, one car off. That's Evan Patinko out on the beach. Here comes Gray Walker to go by.
We were just talking about Patinko, how well he's been doing, staying out on 2 tires earlier, up in the top 5, but with that mistake out of turn 9 right there, that'll back him up into the 11th position.
Driver out of Ohio. As is, I think the core of this series is based kind of in the Midwest. So they're all going through that winter storm that just rolled on through. Hopefully everybody's staying safe. There's, of course, another winter storm rolling through the south later this week. That's going to be rather icy and rather snowy. Personally, you know, I hope I get some snow, but at the same time, I just want to, just want to wish everybody stays safe. It's a very scary situation when that ice storm rolls through, no matter where you are, up north, down south, even if the roads are salted. Man, does it take a toll for sure. It can knock out power, knock out lines, knock down trees. That ice stuff is scary. So across the country right now, going through these winter storms, hopefully everybody's staying safe and taking precautions from local advisories that as they're given. Here we go, Gray Walker to the inside. I'm sorry, not Gray Walker. That's Gray Walker in the 25. To the inside of Evan Patinko.
Yeah, just we talked about how tires don't matter that much, but there's enough of an advantage that you can be able to use those. Gray Walker taking advantage of that, and right there behind him is Adam Buzzio. Saw him earlier have a spin, a big dive down into turn 1 on our big incident earlier in this stage. He's recovered up to 12th, looking to make a move on Patinko.
So Buzzio trying to bounce back a little bit. Somebody just brought something to my attention. There must have been a moment recently for Mason Houseman. Look at the gap up front.
No, there wasn't a moment. That is just the speed right now of Rogers. There might have been a little bit of a loose moment, but you mentioned it earlier, Andrew. You talked about that Rogers is probably the fastest car here tonight. Houseman was just in front of him, able to hold him off. He had the speed and the pace enough to block him. But right now, Rogers has had clear air for the past 7 laps. He's just been able to put time on Houseman with each and every lap.
We're covering all the other action around the racetrack and just kind of lost sight of what was going on here between these two. And it's been a lengthy gap that's been opened up here now between first and second, even lengthier back to third. Which opens up the box of what Rogers can do in terms of strategy. He can pit sooner than these guys and run the fuel out if he wants to. And personally, I think I would do that. You know why? There's always
your car's faster.
Well, there's that, but there's always that potential lurking. It's a very small potential, but we've seen it here in this league before on a road course. We saw it at the Roval last season. There's always that potential of a caution flag for cause, for incident. If you pit and get it out of the way and get back on the racetrack, you're good to go. If you've got the time, you may as well, in my opinion.
Yeah. I mean,
and he's got it.
We're seeing Rogers right now run half a second faster than Houseman So absolutely being able to run that pace right now on these laps into lap number 33. And Rogers just putting on a show out here out front.
Some battles deeper in the top 10. Dakota Camper, Johnny Wood Jr., Jamie Plord, a few Chevrolets going at it.
Plord, we saw have that moment earlier. I think it was right before the end of stage number 2. He's been able to recover from that so far, up into 10th right now, but looking to make a move on that 75 of Johnny Wood. He looks to the inside right here, nothing doing. He'll hold position through turn 1. Right now he's on the back bumper of that 75 of Wood.
You know, I think Plord had that moment on the first lap of stage 2. I think that was at the same time as Hernandez. Oh my gosh, Gray Walker got into him there down the straightaway through turn 2 and into turn 3. And that actually works out for Plord. He gets to the inside of Johnny Wood Jr. somehow.
Somehow he won't be able to have the speed on exit. So Wood will hold into that 9th position. Plord still right back there, but he's going to have to defend from Gray Walker. Walker has been falling a little bit through this field so far. Looks to the inside here in turn number 4. He'll get it on the exit of 5. Will Plord have momentum to make a move into 6?
No. No, he will not. So he will have to settle for that 11th spot now. Adam Buzzy will pull up in that 5 car. A little bit of a battle deep in the field. How about Sam Dyer and Dakota Bly? It's actually starting to spread out now. Dyer goes by Bly. That's for 24th position. Sam Dyer, a broadcaster by day. And kicking up some grass there on the exit of turn 3. That was like a rooster tail of grass for a second.
Oh my goodness. The 84 had a bit of a moment there.
Uh-oh.
Out of turn number 2. Oh, the 56 having trouble again. Who's that in front of him? That's a 13 of Younger.
There's tire tracks that he's following to get back on the racetrack, and right in front of Dakota Bly, throwing up all that gravel. So a big moment again for Cole Younger. He's still kicking up dust.
Yeah, he's having a trouble over here on the European side of road racing. Just hasn't quite been the way he wanted tonight to go. And this is Buttkicker here on pit road, looking to make his most likely final pit stop of the night.
And that, I think, was fuel only. That or it was 2 tires, because that is not a full 4-tire stop. That is 11.55 seconds in the box. That is... Oh, he's going to bin it!
Oh.
Right into the wall there. The Armco barrier, he was pushing it on exit. It's not so bad, I don't think. We'll go on board with him here. I think he's going to be okay, but that was a scary moment there for him.
The wheel looks straight, just trying to get a little bit more in the pit lane exit. Lights up the rears on those cold tires and slides it into the Armco barriers.
Well, that's the first big pit stop, and now we know these guys are good for 20 laps for sure, 21 laps even. So really, the pit window has opened up entirely.
Yeah, we've seen a few come down pit road so far. Josh Anderson came 7 laps ago. Most of our drivers still out on 11-lap old tires, or last when they came in the pit lane at the stage break.
Jason Bottoms just pitted. He's a teammate to Evan Buttkicker. And I hear another car in the pit lane. Who's that going to be?
See Dakota Camper in right now.
Hang on, Dakota Camper, yes, and one other driver. I think Josh Anderson's in the pits.
He's back in again. Looks like he pitted 7 laps ago, so this might be an unscheduled stop for him.
Look at all that rear end damage.
Oh yeah, definitely an unscheduled stop.
Dakota Camper goes by, and let's see what happened here to the 07 car. Watching Dakota Camper from Meatball Motorsports. And what happened here?
I think this is Josh Anderson.
Did I say something else?
You did. You said Dakota Camper, who I was talking about a moment ago in the pit lane.
Yeah. Yeah, watching Josh Anderson, not Dakota Camper.
Let's see what happens here, because you saw that rear end damage. Is he going to get loose? Yeah, loose over the curbing. Out of turn 1, slams the inside barrier.
And toes back to the pit lane. Eric Jensen is in. He's in for service.
Pit stop for him.
and he's going to take tires.
Yeah, so we're seeing a lot of drivers here coming into the pit lane, scheduled pit stops to be able to make it on fuel, some taking tires, some fuel only. What will that mean for our top 5, top 10, those guys running up front and fighting for these amount of points that a lot of these drivers need?
You know, I think we missed something with Houseman. I truly believe, because he has stabilized at 3.5 or so seconds back. I think we missed something. I do. He hasn't kept losing time, right? He's been about 3.5 to 3.8 seconds back. He's been stabilized there. So if it was just he was slower, he would be 4 or 5 seconds back now.
But what I will say is, you look at lap times of Gavin Rogers' last 2 laps, 1:33.8. Before that, he has been running a 1:32.5. So I think Rogers has backed off and is relaxing to not make a mistake.
Maybe. Yeah, you know what? Houseman's catching up now.
Yeah. Because right now, the last lap 30 was a 1:32.5 for Rogers. Then he slowed it down. He's at 1:32.8, 1:33.4, 1:33.2. So he's slowed it down a little bit. I think he's conserving just a little bit to make sure he doesn't make a mistake, because he knows he's got a healthy gap right now for this lead. Oh, they go to Camper. Having a bit of a moment here with the 07.
That's what the 86 of Tony Patton.
Excuse me.
New paint scheme for Patton this week. Let's go back and see what happened.
Having some beef over the racetrack this weekend.
Let's see here what happens in turn 6. Not turn 6, turn 3. I'm all over the place right now. It's the 86 car, but the 3 just nosed to the inside of the 86, turned in on him. They made more contact on exit and just came to a stop.
Yeah, wow. This is a really odd incident.
Buzzio in the pit lane. He will exit and rejoin. Successful pit exit there for the 5 car. He will rejoin in 12th spot. He's the top driver so far to pit. Borbell just did the same thing. He'll rejoin. Stallings, he just pitted.
Yeah, final pit stops continue underway for a lot of these drivers. Ooh, big moment. Patinko's around.
Wow.
The O just dumped him.
Well, let's get a replay. I was looking at timing and scoring for that.
That was Dustin Stallings. I mean, just going to the inside here. Patinko doesn't go all the way wide. There's a car outside of him. Maybe the 00 of Stallings just misjudged that. Thought Patinko would go farther to the outside, but he didn't.
Here it is. He's going to close in a hurry. And I think just saw an opportunity to go to the inside. Yeah, there was an opening, and Patinko kept turning down over it.
Yeah, Patinko just couldn't move outside. He had a little bit more room to go to the outside, but he was playing it safe. But a bit of an aggressive move from Stalling there, but just a racing incident. But it looked a little bit more aggressive than it was, but obviously that stuff happens.
Jared Hughes in and out of the pit lane. He'll rejoin in 8th. Scott Fritz down in the pit lane.
Yeah, John Hughes just pitted. He's in 8th in that 98, but he is the only one inside of the top 10 that has pitted so far. And Adam Buzzio is the other car. He's right outside in 11.
Yeah, cars that have pitted. Jared Hughes, Adam Buzzio, Stephen Borbell, Scott Fritz has, but he's in here for a long time now. So those are your... Oh, Patinko around again, the 81. On the front stretch, you're going to try and whip that car back around. A smoke show in front of Dakota Bly, his teammate. And here comes Coulter Clark. Bly down in 20th spot or so. Bly actually now moves up to 18th, passing Patinko.
And that is not a fun lap for Patinko. 2 incidents in 1 on the first corner and the last.
Sutherland comes in. That's one of the stops we were waiting on.
He was running in the top 5. So this is the first of our top 5 to bring it to pit road so far for these last pit stops.
Second, actually, had Jared Hughes, who was racing with Sutherland. So this will be the first real good telltale of where they're going to rejoin, because Hughes was with the 24 and should be joining, or I think has already passed him. Yeah, Hughes is way down the... Hughes took fuel only. Sutherland took 4 tires. So there's Hughes into turn 3. Sutherland is just now getting to turn 2 right about here.
Yeah, interesting call to take 4 tires with only 15 to go.
You know, Sutherland is one of those drivers that I think wasn't as, I don't want to say ready for this event, because I don't know how much practice he put in, but he wasn't as enthused by it. He doesn't have as much road experience. One of those guys that was very open about it as well. He doesn't have all that road experience that some of these other drivers do. So I think he was just banking on the classic NASCAR strategy of 4 tires and fuel most every time you pit, and wasn't ready for these tires to be as durable as these are, and maybe didn't realize that you could take no tires like that.
Yeah, well, and I'll say, sometimes you forget to uncheck the box. You can go into your pit lane. I know it's, for me, when I'm in league races like this, it's, for my setup, sometimes it's really difficult for me to take my eyes off the road, especially under green, to be able to uncheck those tires. So it's, sometimes you can just forget, or it just, you never know. But Sutherland, no matter what happened behind him, if he chose to or if he didn't, he took 4. Now he is 7 seconds back from 6th place, Jared Hughes.
It's a big gap, but Hughes has got some work to do to try and catch up to others. 4 seconds up to Johnny Wood Jr. Granted, Johnny Wood Jr. has not yet pitted. That's the first real battle that was happening before the pit stop that is changed after the pit stop. Coulter Clark is now around at a turn 4 rather. Brandvold went on by. Brandvold runs in 3rd. So Clark now 1 lap down.
I think Dakota just had a moment there, and over the radio, Houseman said, "Man, Dakota, you made me excited. I thought for a second you were Gavin." Looking for a mistake from Rogers. Rogers still in the lead of this race, 4.1 seconds ahead.
So clearly he can stretch the lead out if he wants to.
Yeah, I think he's just protecting himself, staying safe.
There he goes, up to turn number 3. What a surreal look sometimes from the drone camera. That is just surreal. I want to remind you about who brings us these broadcasts here at Pit Stop TV, who allows these broadcasts to be possible, as we watch a pit stop here for Zachary Brandvold. Of course, making it happen for the series, the Buttkicker, Ascendance Trucks, Ideal Lease, and Sundance Pizza. This week's race is the Simrat Market Grand Prix. And of course, here at Pit Stop TV, Whiplash Sibcams, ATVO, CC's Business, and Cody Williams Design. A little ways to go still, 15 laps or so. Gavin Rogers continues to lead, and this is a stage of the race that we weren't prepared for. I think we're out of filler material. We've really just got down to getting this race in. We've just got to get the laps in at this point. And I think we know who's going to win this thing if things work out as they've been, but there's always unknowns around every turn here at Austria.
Yeah, I mean, we saw earlier Houseman in the first stage. It was a showing where we knew that Rogers might have the overall raw pace, but Houseman had enough to where he could hold off that of Rogers. But after the incident with the 13 of Younger, put him in the back, and while he was able in the second stage charge himself up back to second, he just doesn't have the pace that Rogers does to be able to catch up with him and be able to have a battle for this lead.
They'll pull up on Dustin Stallings and Zachary King here, about to go 1 lap down. King is already, no, actually they're both battling for position, battling for 14th. That tells you where Rogers is up to through the field, putting these guys 1 lap down, 1 by 1. King defending, Stallings trying to pass. This is at turn 4, and oh, they're getting oh so close. There they go, they touch. That's right in front of the leader. That's going to hold up the 77 of Rogers. And boy, that was a big moment. Stallings dives back under the inside of the 77 car and holds him up.
Stallings still not done with it. Finally slows down to the inside, but turns the 51 of King right in front of leader Rogers.
And that just cost Gavin Rogers a second and a half on the racetrack. He's going to light it back up.
I thought he was about to be involved.
Me too.
He slammed on those brakes. I wonder if he's got a flat spot. I don't think it'll matter, but I mean, he was inches away from being involved in that. Wow.
And Hausman's going to use this opportunity to draw closer and pit.
That's smart. That's a great move. That's great. I mean, wow. Well, when we can, I'd love to get another look at that because I did not expect that. We've seen Sutherland be able to. He's had some moves, or excuse me, not Sutherland. Who am I thinking of? Oh my goodness. I'm blanking here.
While you work on that, we're going to watch Hausman's pit stop here and see if he takes any tires. The answer looks like is no. Fuel only, although it is a longer time in the box than most of these drivers, so he takes some insurance fuel. I guess hasn't been saving it all. 7.4 seconds in the box. It's longer than we've seen from most of these guys who have done fuel only, and he'll rejoin behind Wolsifer, who is a lap down. But let's go back and see what happened with our race leader.
Stallings. That's what I was thinking of. We've seen him be aggressive already. But man, he's fighting for position here with that of King out of turn 5. King looks like King might have come down the track.
I think so. I think Stallings had posted up position on the inside, had right to it, and yeah, just held his ground. You're right.
Yeah. So just a racing incident, but man, I bet Gavin Rogers was, he was a little nervous about that one for a second.
Let's look back at this one more time. Dustin Stallings' point of view.
It's a great move here. Carry that momentum. A bit of a lockup by King on that inside. Great run here out of turn 4 into 5. And yeah, looks like the 51 just cuts down a little bit too much. And Stallings was there.
Then he shoved it back up the inside of Gavin Rogers and just held the leader up some more. I mean, what an incredible couple of quarters there. That was crazy.
Hey, well, you said it a minute ago. You said, well, it's almost, anything can happen, but it's pretty much, we have a good idea, but man, we almost saw a big change there.
For those of you listening, it seems like the internet gremlins are getting us a little bit. I see we're dropping frames and it's network connection. I'm not sure if there's anything we can do about it right now, so I hate to say this, but you're going to have to bear with us right now. I'm not sure there's anything we can do. So if you're listening, hopefully you can hear my voice. I see that it's happening. So I appreciate you guys bringing it to our attention in the YouTube chat. Unfortunately, I can see the meter in OBS, and it's looking like it's just the network connection. The cord is still plugged in, or you wouldn't be hearing us at all. So it's not that. I think this is something with the ISP. And unfortunately, something out of our control. It looks like it's just going crazy right now. So hopefully you can bear with us, and hopefully it gets better. But we are aware of the situation, and we'll hope that it resolves here shortly. In the meantime, we will hit that record button in case we have to post this later. Gavin Rogers leading this race by 6.2 seconds. Man, he got held up and said, let me light the afterburners real quick and get back out to a larger advantage.
Yeah, well, and let's remember, he has not pitted yet. Oh, he just did. And like you said, as lighting those afterburners 6.4 seconds ahead. So he was in the box. He saved 3.5 seconds in the box there. Excuse me, about 3. So
that number right there
is
what you're looking at.
It was close between them. And but man, he saved some time over Hausman in the box, and he's back up to a 6.5 second lead.
Yeah, that number there that I have circled is what you're looking at. And let's go back to Mason Hausman. Watch that number just expand on Hausman's point of view. So that is a big, big difference between them. And that's going to be all the marbles.
That was everything, all the time he lost and more between the incident and Stallings and King.
Well, things are calming down a little bit, little by little. As we get further into this race, let's briefly talk about what's upcoming here at Pit Stop TV. Tomorrow night, it's a special event for us here at Pit Stop TV. For the first time ever, we've got this one coming to you. It's the 4th year running of the Sim Racing for the Kids event, and it's the first time it'll be on Pit Stop TV. It's been on Sim TV in years past. I've been lucky enough to be a part of the broadcast team for each of those runnings, and this time we're bringing it home to Pit Stop TV. Going to be a lot of fun. The Hit Motorsports Group is excited. Sim Racing for the Kids in benefit of the Sick Kids Foundation. Make sure to tune in tomorrow night at 7 Eastern. We've got a special one for you. Then Thursday, it's the Sim Auto Racing Association Pierce Fleet Service Super Series, headed out to we don't know where because, well, that picture is from Centripetal Circuit because it's a mystery race, the 3rd one of 5 this season and 3rd in a row. Then Saturday, it's the 2nd annual Carroll Kenneth Carden Memorial Race. It'll be the 2nd year running, of course, by 2nd annual, and 2nd time that we meet not Carol, hang on, I know his name, Cameron Carden and company, but first time at Myrtle Beach. Last year it was at Richmond. This year we're taking those late model stock cars to Myrtle Beach Speedway, somewhere that they know and love for oh so many years. Late model stocks and Myrtle Beach just went hand in hand. It'll be a lot of fun to take them right back home where they belong, to Myrtle Beach Speedway on January the 11th, and then January the 12th, Sunday, a very special broadcast. Again, it'll be the running of the Majors Daytona 2.4 hour race. That should be so much fun. 7 Eastern or so on Sunday. Make sure to join us for that one. And Scott, there's so many places to keep in touch.
Yeah, you can follow us at our website, pitstoptv.com, our Facebook, Instagram, Twitch, YouTube, and X. You can find it everywhere. Updates on what is coming up. We've got all types of different series going on here at Pit Stop TV, and you can find us at all social medias that you're a part of.
Brennan Maddox finally pitted recently, and just about everybody is now cycled through. A couple of drivers yet to pit. Zachary King, one of them. Here we go. He pits. And he'll work back onto the racetrack along with Jason Bottoms. So that about sorts things out now. It's a straight up race from here. And Gavin Rogers has the 7-second advantage.
Yeah, just a show by Gavin Rogers. We knew he was going to be fast again. He was fastest in practice, put it on pole here tonight. I wish we could have seen more battle between him and Houseman, because that first stage was absolutely electric, seeing them within a second of each other the entire time. And so I wish we could have seen more from that. But I mean, Rogers, he has been fast. We knew he was going to be fast coming into this race, and he has put it on here tonight.
Watching the field work through turn 7 and turn 8. I am recording in backup, by the way, for those of you wondering about the internet connectivity issues that we had there for a little bit. It seems like they've smoothed out for the time being, but we are recording as a backup just in case. Not sure how much that'll help us, but we'll hope for the best here. As you can see, the gap there between Hughes and Sutherland has narrowed up a little bit. Hughes now only 2 seconds ahead of Sutherland. It was a much larger gap. Let's go to that battle. On board Sutherland, and oh, he's going to give a shot there to the 13 car Younger. That is not the first time the 13's been in the way, and nothing that he could have done differently there, I don't think. He just got hit.
Yeah, the 13 has been a bit of a roadblock here tonight. I don't think too many people have been happy that he's in the way. It looks like Sutherland just going to move by quick as he can, but he has cut down that time to Jared Hughes. Earlier we saw after pit stops, Jared Hughes fuel only. Sutherland, he took 4 tires. He was more than 7 seconds back, and now that gap is almost under 2 seconds.
Want to also mention weather conditions. We haven't talked about them yet today. In the air, 73.2 degrees, mostly cloudy, 83 degree track temp. Not too crazy. pretty much perfect conditions for these guys to go racing. Buttkicker out wide at turn 4.
Yeah, Buttkinker's day went from excellent to terrible real fast. And it's so frustrating because we saw him, he took a risky call on 2 tires up front, was running well, but then we just saw some incidents after the pit stop for him.
And if you're new to the BRB Racing League and the BRB Buttkicker Cup Series, well, unfortunately you can't join this season. Sign-ups have been closed. I mean, you can sign up and go on the waiting list, but sign-ups are closed for the season for the most part. You can always join in for season number 4, though, and we'll take a look at the series schedule before we end this one out. Let's do so now. Next up, after the Red Bull Ring, we head to Nashville Superspeedway. That's next week here on January 14th. Then it's Chicagoland and Pocono to wrap up the month of January. And then Darlington, Daytona, IRP, and Michigan in February. March will bring us 4 more races, but in the chase, St. Louis, Watkins Glen, Talladega, and Rockingham. Then Miami on April 1st to cap things off. A very exciting schedule here to the end of the season for sure. It's been a very exciting schedule already. We had coverage at Atlanta. We missed Phoenix, unfortunately. We had coverage at Dover, Kansas, and Bristol. Back here at Austria. Nashville next week should be a bunch of fun. I always love going to that racetrack. Nashville Superspeedway is just tons and tons of fun.
Yeah, IRP is going to be cool. I've never seen... I didn't think you could run Cup Series at that track. That is going to be cool.
You can run anything anywhere, as we're showing these guys can do it this evening. I mean, we ran Eldora last season, so...
In the Cup car?
Yes, in the Cup car. It was a bunch of fun.
What?
Yeah, you know...
Oh my... That's awesome.
You know, when they had me on the Holler podcast a few weeks back, they asked me... I believe they asked me. I know we talked about it. I think they asked me what my favorite race was. And I said Eldora. So far, it's been Eldora. Awesome. It was just so much fun. And
I did not think you could fit that or that would work. I might have to go back and watch that race.
You definitely have to. Being the dirt racing fan that you are, you definitely have to. It's must-watch television, in my opinion. So anybody watching this evening, if you haven't gone back and watched that race yet, even if you have already, go back and watch it. Last season here with the BRB Racing League at Eldora. Now, meanwhile, what are we looking at here? Well, we're watching Zachary Brandvold try to chase down his Accelerate Motorsports teammate in Gray Walker. This is for 10th spot. Brandvold was in the top 10 earlier, top 5 even. Not sure what has happened to car 55, but he is now down in the 11th position and chasing his teammate for another spot.
Yeah, Brandvold looks like he had a lot of time in the box on pit road. 44 seconds. A minute and 5 seconds in the pit lane, so he must have gotten damaged somewhere or something, because that is an egregious amount of time in the pit lane for him. Dropped him back to 11th, but now looking, he might be faster than his teammate and that of Gray Walker ahead of him, trying to break back into that top 10.
You know what it could have been? We've seen some fuel-only stops around 4.8 seconds already this evening. That extra 40 seconds very well could be a penalty.
Speeding.
Yeah, that I think is what that might have been for Zachary Brandvold.
Yeah.
A 40-second hold.
That's a great guess.
That's unfortunate. He was having a really good night until that happened.
Yeah.
Working here on Gray Walker still. The top 10 is pretty well spread out, but we do have Isaiah Sutherland chasing down Jared Hughes on board now, 1.2 seconds and closing. There's some lap traffic ahead.
Yeah, Sutherland gonna hope Hughes will run into that lap traffic at a moment that doesn't really work out for them. It might slow him down just a little bit for Sutherland to get back into this top 3.
Into turn number 3 here, Wolsifer and Catania. They're side by side right ahead of Jared Hughes. Sutherland rolls through that third corner, and here we go up to turn 4. Things are tightening up now between third and fourth. 1 second. And Hughes is going to look to the inside of Wolsifer. Catania locks up and slides off the racetrack. Now just one car that the 98 has to contend with.
Yeah, now this puts Wolsifer right in the way of Sutherland. He'll move through to the inside here. Wolsifer going to let him by.
You see Sutherland there gets by the 18 of Catania. Now it turns 7 and turn 8. Just a few laps left. Sutherland closing in. You see the gap, bottom right. Jared Hughes trying to get by this 56 car. He'll do it down here in turn 9.
Now that's Wolfsburg there that he gets in front of. Now the 24 of Sutherland has to make his way. This has closed the gap tremendously, almost by half, just under 0.7 of a second now between Hughes and Sutherland as we move here into lap number 52.
On board with Isaiah Sutherland, watching this battle evolve.
Big
when they get back around, yes it was, when they get back around, it'll be 3 laps to go. That was 4. More lap traffic ahead. That's the 87 of Jason Bottoms right ahead.
Bottoms will move to the outside, out of the way of these leaders. But Sutherland is pushing it for everything he's got. Late in the brake zone there in turn 3. I imagine he'll be late on the brakes here into turn 4. It looks like he's got a great run. Hard on the brakes here at the 50-meter mark. Cuts to the inside, tries to get a good run here into turn 5.
You know, Sutherland's teammate, Dakota Camper, is just ahead of this 98 car. I'm not saying team orders are in play, but that 3 could hold up the 98 just ever so slightly and help that 24 car catch up to Hughes. Although he's got there on his own. Look at how close these two are now.
Yeah, 98 did not have a great entry there into turn number 6. Rounding through turn 7 now through the corkscrew of 8. Back to the outside on the curbs. It's now under 0.4 of a second between these two drivers. There's an open opportunity here for Sutherland to get back on the podium.
3 laps to go this time by. This is the hottest battle on the racetrack. We'll go back on board with Sutherland.
Yeah, he is pushing it here. Late on the brakes. 150-meter board. Lap car in the way. That's the teammate of Sutherland. Now Sutherland to the back bumper of the 98. 98 will try to block. They'll make some contact. Side by side now, heading to turn 3. Hughes and Sutherland. 84's in the way.
Wow, Dakota Blythe just played pick for the 98 car of Jared Hughes unintentionally. Blythe was just trying to get out of the way, and that slowed the 24 down just enough. Wow. 2.5 laps to go for these guys. They go by Tony Patton.
I mean, that was perfect placement for Dakota there, teammate of Sutherland. Like you said, I don't think he planned it. He was in the way at the right moment.
Dakota Camper, that is, yeah.
Yeah. 2
Dakotas in that. Dakota Blythe was also a part of that, and Dakota Blythe held up the 24.
Yeah, so Dakota helped it and Dakota hurt. One was a teammate and one was Blythe.
Here's Dustin Stallings and Carl Pooler. They're also fighting, and they're right in front of the race leader of Gavin Rogers. This could play spoiler maybe. I mean, it's a 12-second gap, but with 2 laps to go, this is not where Gavin Rogers wants to be.
Well, Rogers, the last time Stallings was in front of him, well, we saw him turn King around, and Rogers almost got involved.
And Stallings gets free and will have to let the 77 car go. And that means he'll have to watch the 71 get smaller in his windshield. Rogers goes on by in the 77 car. Made it 2 laps to go last time by the flag stand. Coming around to the white flag this next time by. Also got to watch Adam Buzzio and Jamie Plord. They are close together. Here's Buzzio's on board, looking up at Plord, about 8/10 between the two. Buzzio has fought back up to the 8th position. He was 15th under that last stage caution. So he has really fought up through this field.
Currently in 8th, looking to hunt down Ford on this final lap for them. That passes for them. There's 2 laps to go for them.
Meanwhile, here comes Gavin Rogers around to the white flag. Brought to you by Whiplash Simcams. This time by 1 lap to go. White flag brought to you by Whiplash Simcams in the air for Gavin Rogers. Final time around the Red Bull Ring.
Led so much tonight, Rogers, and he has put on a performance here. 12.6 second lead so far, 40 laps led so far tonight. The only time he didn't lead was in that first stage when he was fighting with Houseman.
You see the fight right behind him. That is Pooler and Stallings still fighting. We'll let them have their little moment. We also got to watch Hughes and Sutherland. Here they are.
The last time into turn one between the two of them. 98 gets a bit of a better exit here. Hughes will have that run down the back straightaway. Sutherland, they left in the dust just a little bit, but they are still so close together there. Anytime Sutherland can make a move late on the brakes here into turn
here it
three.
is.
Look to the inside.
He got there. Contact. He's going to turn him around. And he's going to wait on him. It's going to be a race now between them. That's going to bring in Brendan Maddox, maybe. No, Maddox is way too far back. Never mind. He waited on him, but he will not give the spot up yet. Is he going to?
Yeah.
Yes, he is. Meanwhile, Gavin Rogers out ahead of the field by 13 seconds up to second place. Gavin Rogers is going to earn himself his first win of the season in Austria. Congratulations, Car 77. It's a checkered flag.
Yeah, Sutherland right there gave the spot back to Hughes, then gets in the gravel out of turn number 5. But ahead of them, Gavin Rogers with the win. The 78 of Mason Houseman is going to come home second. He had a great battle here tonight, but wasn't quite able to grab the win. And this is Hughes coming back down one of our final straightaways down into turn number 9, looking to come home with a podium.
And he will. It'll be third place for Jared Hughes this evening, the Pit Stop TV machine. A top 3 for the 98 after all. The rest of the field will come on by here shortly. Brendan Maddox in 5th. There is one more battle on the racetrack that we're watching. It's Buzzio and Plord. Here we go into the final 2 corners. Buzzio pushes the issue. Plord goes way out wide. Into turn 10, a big dive from Buzzio. He's trying to get there. This is for the 7th spot, and he's going to drag race, and he's going to get him.
Wow, what a drive for Buzzio. Got a great, almost jumped the corner there. In turn number 10, had a straight line off it and had so much speed on exit.
Unbelievable stuff. You see Mason Houseman giving a nod here to Gavin Rogers, who's drifting around the circuit, having some fun. Couple of cars left to finish as these guys go drifting around the Red Bull ring, and oh, watch the wall. He's going to burn it down.
Doesn't need the car anymore. A little bit of a bump there from Houseman.
Everybody that finished the race has now, well, that was going to finish the race has now finished. So it's official, at least for now. Gavin Rogers is your race winner here at the Red Bull ring. We'll go down your full race results here in just a moment. We'll see if Rogers burns it down anymore. Is Zachary King going to come over and give a nod to the 77 car and maybe give a push to him as well?
Yeah, the over the radio, Gavin just said, "Come push me down into the turn 1 wall."
Is he out of fuel?
I think so.
Oh my gosh. So Rogers getting a push now from Houseman, getting a bit of a lift. Well, that'll be it as far as the racing action goes here at the Red Bull Ring. The Sundance Pizza Ford Mustang goes to victory lane. You see a look at the Christmas paint scheme there on board that Ford Mustang Dark Horse. A beautiful one. Possibly first, but unlikely. Well, it was likely here this evening, and that's what is the case. First place for the 77 car. Congratulations once again, Gavin Rogers.
First in practice on the pole, race win. First win of this season.
Let's take a look back at the unofficial race results then when it's all said and done here at the Red Bull Ring. Up front, Gavin Rogers, 41 laps led for the 77 car. Mason Houseman some 15 seconds back. Then Jared Hughes in the third spot. Isaiah Sutherland, Brendan Maddox, your top 5. Johnny Wood Jr., a solid 6th. Adam Buzzio, a buzzer beater. 7th place there for the 5 car. Jamie Port in 8th. Stephen Borbell 9th. And Gray Walker comes home 10th.
And right there, right outside, was that 55 of Zachary Brandvold. Just wasn't quite able to make up the time to teammate Walker. Carl Pooler is there in 12th. 13th is the 0 of Dustin Stallings. Started up in 4th, but just wasn't quite able to have it. Had some mistakes and wasn't quite able to recover. 56 of Richard Wolsifer had some problems. Ends up 14th. The 18 of Matthew Katina ends up 15th. Dakota Camper in that 3-car teammate to that of Isaiah Sutherland comes home in the 16th position. 17th and 18th will be Zachary King and Scott Fritz. Coming home 19th and 20th is Coulter Clark and Evan Patenko.
21st, Braxton Skinner, Sam Dyer 22nd. They are the final 2 cars, 1 lap down. Richard Smith comes home 23rd in the 23 car. Dakota Bly, Eric Jensen, Cole Younger, all 2 laps down. Robert Moyer Jr. comes home in the 27th spot, 3 laps down, along with Tony Patton at 28th. Jason Bottoms and Josh Anderson each finished 29th and 30th. Some big troubles for each of them. And finally, the last 2 cars on the grid, Matthew Selby and Patrick Hernandez. Hernandez out way early after that moment in turn 3. There you see the drifting from the 77 car of Gavin Rogers. We'll be talking to him here. Let's dial up driver 77 for the second time this evening. He won stage 2. He nearly dominated this whole dang race, but he comes home with the race win, 41 laps led. And I asked you earlier if anybody else had a shot, and I just had a feeling then it was a 77 car type of day. Did you at any point have that feeling, Gavin?
Yeah, you know, it's kind of the mindset you got to have going into it. And if you want to win, you can't think otherwise, in my opinion. You always got to go for one, or you ain't really going for much at all. But no, that race felt great. I know Mason made a few mistakes, and it sounds like he may have had some brake issues, so I can't really say he wasn't in contention with racing me for the win. Unfortunately, there was just other situations he was going through that kind of maybe caused him not to be at his optimal pace. But overall, it was a great race. I had fun racing these guys, especially that first stage with Mason, and we were having a little back and forth battle there for a little bit. A couple scary moments on the restarts, but that's just how it goes. You know, it's always fun. But yeah, just really happy how the race played out tonight. Got Jared, got a team top 10. I think everybody was in the top 10 tonight. I know Adam and Steven had a little bit more in the tank to finish a little bit higher up, but 2 in the top 3, that's pretty sweet. And yeah, just happy how everything went tonight.
And how chaotic was that stage 3 restart, and how thankful were you to get through it quickly?
Yeah, I had a kind of little flashbacks from my other league's race here earlier in December, because guys behind kind of blew the corner from going, I think, 3 wide, or maybe one of them just locked up and went up into everybody. A couple cars on the outside lane got screwed up. And I was in the outside lane. I was just waiting for it to happen, but luckily I was able to go wide enough and not get caught up in anything, and also not get a slowdown. And fortunately got ahead of Mason, who's also a really great defender. You don't really want to be behind Mason as a leader. He's great at defending. But yeah, just happy I was able to get through it and pull off a win.
It's a win for sure for car 77. That Sundance Pizza Ford Mustang Dark Horse looks good out front. Congratulations, buddy. Hopefully we're talking to you again soon.
All right, appreciate it, guys.
That's Gavin Rogers with the race win. That means Mason Houseman's coming to you, Scott.
Well, Mason Houseman comes home second here tonight. I know you wanted a little bit more, Mason. You got 2 wins on the season. You would love to make it 3. Talk to me first of all. Let's go back to that first stage. You got in front of Rogers there, and we're holding him off. He just talked about how good of a defender you were. Tell me about that in moment where Younger got in front of you. Tell me how that changes the rest of that race for you.
You know, I'm not going to put any blame on Younger. You know, he did exactly what he needed to do. I'm a lead lap car, or not, you know what I mean. He needed to stay in his lane, and that's exactly what he needed to do, and I just misjudged it, and first stage ran to the back of him, and then stage 3 I got stuck behind him for a little bit. So, you know, totally wasn't his fault. It was my fault for running into the back of him stage 1. But you know, it sucks a little bit because, you know, I wanted to be a little bit more closer. I know Gavin had the pace tonight, and you know, it feels good for him saying that I was a good defender tonight, because at first I thought I was doing a horrible job. But yeah, it hurts a little bit, but you know, you move on to next week.
Yeah, you moved up through the second stage. You worked back from 14th, got involved in that incident with Hernandez there in turn 3, then still with that damage worked your way up to second. In that third stage, talk to me about that pace. Rogers was expecting you to have more. Did you have an issue with the car? He talked about you maybe having brake issues.
So what was happening is I'm running a hydraulic brake, and something must have happened. I just reset it and now it's giving me full brake, but the only way I could get half of my brake was to push it all the way in. So some type of sensor issue happened, so I lost a lot of pace doing that. I was surprised I was putting the laps down. I just had to back off the corner a lot, and my foot is absolutely destroyed right now because it's super sore. But the damage, I think, did also a lot of implications on my times. You know, you need that nose in order to get through the air cleaner, and I lost a little bit of aero, I think, going through the corners.
Yeah, I think those hydraulic brakes, I know how tough they are, so I know that your foot is definitely hurting right now. You can get that some rest. You spoke about, you know, there's next week. That's what you look ahead to. Nashville Super Speedway. What does that preparation look like for you?
Just putting the laps down. You know, I put a lot of laps down here this week, but I think I'll put a lot more down next week because, you know, I want to get that win that I missed out on this week, and put a lot of laps in to see what's wrong with my brakes so I can understand if I need to buy a new one or to buy a couple of parts. So yeah, that is the main implication. But you know, I'm more focusing on this week because we're running a special paint this week. You know, a lot of people I know a lot of people around me have been affected by suicide. You know, we wanted to run a special paint this week to I don't know the words to say. It's a tough subject to talk about. But you know,
we talked about it up here in the booth, and we're thankful that there are guys like y'all out here that will run things like that, because it is important to speak about things like suicide prevention, and that it is relevant here and today. So I'm really glad that you mentioned it, and that you guys and your team were out here supporting this cause of suicide prevention, because it is a troubling thing that happens here today in our world. So we're thankful that guys like y'all are out here bringing more and more awareness to issues like that.
No, yeah, totally. And I just wanted to tell everybody out there, if you are struggling with anything, don't take the easy route. Talk to people if you want to. You don't understand how much it hurts the people around you that are affected by it. You know, it will hurt the people a lot around you.
Well, we very much appreciate that. I know viewers appreciate that. I know everyone appreciates that, Mason. I know you wanted a little bit more here tonight, but I know you're still looking good in the points here with a second place finish. I know you're looking forward to Nashville. Congratulations tonight.
Yes, I appreciate it. And I want to say thank you to my team. You know, they let me do this paint this week, and we did a whole team effort. Sadly, Zach couldn't make it this week because he has poor time management skills. And I just want to say thank you for Zach for making these beautiful paints. You know, he put a lot of work into them. And Dustin and Brendan, they put the laps in with me, and you know, they talked me throughout the entire race, and we all helped each other as a team. I want to thank you guys. You guys put out a great product. When you guys came along, the racing got way better. The viewers got way better, and you know how that rest of the story goes. And I want to thank to the viewers. You know, we do this stuff for you guys. We're happy that you guys come out and watch us, and hopefully we put on a good product for you tonight, and all the admins for putting in the time and effort to get in the setup for this week. And I know how hard it is to do that. And Rev, obviously, for getting back in here this week. You know, he's a big priority in this league, and we always appreciate him.
Well, I know everyone appreciates it. Thank you tonight, Mason.
Yes, thank you.
Well, that was Mason Houseman, comes home second here tonight. Third place of Hughes, Jared Hughes, is going to be with Andrew. He had a little bit of a battle there towards the end, Andrew.
Yes, he did. Jared Hughes coming home with a little bit of contact there at the end with Isaiah Sutherland. First off, Jared, what happened?
I looked at it, and it looks like he did come up into me a little bit, and I wasn't sure. Huge shout out to him. He stopped and let me go. He said he didn't want to beat me like that. So I think it was close. I probably could have gave him a little more room, but all the respect in the world to Isaiah for that. That's pretty cool he done that.
And how about the choice there? We saw several drivers do it, but what about the choice for you to take no tires there at that pit stop and go fuel only?
Man, I didn't think that new tires would be quick enough to catch up to the guys that didn't take them. But boy, I was wrong. I had trouble getting around lap cars. It just felt like I kept catching them at the worst time and couldn't quit looking at the relative with Isaiah catching me. And I knew it was going to be a fight there at the end. And it could have been a good last lap battle, but it is what it is.
It is what it is. Well, it's a third place for you. That's what it is at the end of the day. Congratulations, Jared. Good to talk to you for one of the first times here at Pit Stop TV. I know it's been a while, so congrats. Celebrate this one. Hopefully we're talking to you again soon.
Awesome. Thank you, guys. Oh, and Gavin wanted me to say that thank you to Adam for his paint job. He didn't get a chance to say it, so give a shout out for him.
There you go. A shout out to Adam Buzzio with the paint scheme there on the 77 car. Jared, thanks for your time once again. Congrats. Hopefully we're talking to you soon.
Awesome. Thank you, guys.
Jared Hughes with the third place this evening. Solid day for Car 98, and that will do it for us from the Red Bull Ring. One more look at the series schedule. Moving on from here, it's Nashville. You couldn't get two more different racetracks. The asphalt road course here of the Red Bull Ring to the concrete mile and third of Nashville Superspeedway next week. They couldn't be more different.
And these drivers have a reset in their mind to take now. Like Houseman said, it's about putting in the laps, and I imagine a lot of drivers will take the time in this next upcoming week to be able to put in those laps, find the time, find the speed at a track like Nashville, and be able to put on a show next week on January 14th.
Should be a lot of fun. We'll see you all there. Until then, thanks for tuning in this evening. One more time, let's see who makes it happen for us here with the Racing League, the BRB Racing League, the Buttkicker, Ascendance Trucks, Ideal Lease, and Sundance Pizza. And of course, behind the scenes here at Pit Stop TV, Whiplash SimCams, ATVO, CC's Business, and Cody Williams Design. One more look at what's upcoming for us here at Pit Stop TV. Scott, tomorrow night, it's the Sim Racing for Kids event number 4. 4th year running that we're raising money. And let me just take a look briefly. Hang on. I can't show you, unfortunately, on the broadcast, but we can take a look at hang on. I had this all typed up earlier and I completely lost it. Let me find this. We're doing it live. I'm going to try and find exactly where we're at for the donations for this event, because they're raising money for Sick Kids Foundation in Toronto, Canada. And I'm sure I can find this here quickly, because I thought I could. But the total is up over $40,000.
Wow.
The goal is around 87, I believe. We'll just go with that. The total so far that's been raised is over $40,000. And that is a crazy amount. Or it's around 40,000 anyways. It might not be quite ticked over 40 just yet, but I'm pretty sure I thought it was over 40. Regardless, it's a new record for this event. 4 years running, it's the best it's ever been, and it's on Pit Stop TV tomorrow night, 7 Eastern. Make sure to tune in. We'll be here. It's going to be a whole bunch of fun. James Hinchcliffe is the Grand Marshal. We'll have a message from him and a message from Sick Kids Foundation, and it's just going to be a fun night of racing overall. We've got GT3 cars set to go around Road America for 2.5 hours of racing. It'll be on Rev TV in Canada. It's just going to be a really cool event overall. Make sure to tune in tomorrow night with myself, Zach Lindgren, and David Levine on the call. Robert Hill Jr. helping out from the HIP Motorsports Center. Going to be an exciting one for sure. Then Thursday, it's another mystery race for the Sim Auto Racing Association Pierce Fleet Service Super Series. We don't know where we're going yet. I might know, but that's a secret. We'll find out Thursday where we're going. And then Saturday, of course, it's the second annual Carroll Kenneth Card Memorial Race at Myrtle Beach Speedway. Sunday, it's the Majors Daytona 2.4 hour race on January 12th. And Scott, there's plenty of places to follow along.
You can follow along at all of our major social medias, being Facebook, Instagram, Twitch, YouTube, X, and of course at our website, pitstoptv.com. You can catch all the action about what's going on and what's coming next.
Once again, make sure to tune in tomorrow night. Sim Racing for the Kids, 4 7 Eastern. Make sure to be there. It's going to be a lot of fun. You do not want to miss this event. This is going to be a very special one for years to come on Pit Stop TV. I'm so much looking forward to it tomorrow, but make sure to be there. We'll see you all next time here at Pit Stop TV. Thanks for tuning in. We'll catch you on the flip side.